The Predator franchise is one of my all-time favorite science fiction film series of all time. Despite having a track record of bad movies after the first film, as of 2022, the recently released Prey has managed to revive the Predator film series, and to be honest, it's probably my second favorite Predator movie. What sets it apart from other sci-fi horror films is that it packs a ton of action, as well as creative and intriguing lore behind its very creatures. Today, we'll be taking a look at the Predator Iceberg. And what sets this iceberg video apart from other iceberg videos is that, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I could gather on the internet, there are literally no icebergs based around Predator, which is bizarre considering the fact that there are icebergs for the Alien franchise, but I digress. So I decided to make up my own iceberg, and because of how much information there is on the internet, this video will likely be broken into different parts, depending on what new information I gathered that I didn't compile in this video. So without further ado, here is the Predator Iceberg. Layer 1. Yautja. The Yautja are the name of the species given to the predators. The term was first coined in the Alien vs. Predator comic novelization titled AVP Prey. These books were rich in terms of detailing the lore and history of the Yautja, as we got to learn more about their species in terms of their language, culture, and social hierarchies. An average Yautja stands between 7 to 8 feet tall, and an example of their social statuses can even trace itself back to the length of their dreadlocks. Longer dreadlocks reflect their skill in battle and are seen as more attractive to female Yautjas, with shorter dreadlocks being the complete opposite. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean-Claude Van Damme is a Belgian actor well known for movies like Bloodsport, Universal Soldier, Kickboxer, and the live-action Street Fighter movie that everybody loves. He was originally the stunt performer underneath the Predator costume. Unfortunately, that didn't last long as he was fired afterwards due to the fact that he complained about the suit's design and how miserable it was to be under it. We'll come back to this one later in another layer, as it leads into another interesting fact about the suit Van Damme originally wore. Video games. There are over 6 different Predator games within the franchise, and 14 if you count the AVP series. The first game was Predator, released in 1987 for the NES, with the most recent installments at the time of this video's recording being Predator Hunting Ground, released in 2020. If you ever wondered where this infamous Arnold line came from, it was from the first Predator movie. Predalien. A Predalien is a rare mixed hybrid of a Yautja and a Xenomorph. The first ever Predalien appeared in the 2-part comic book series AVP Duel. Their video game debut was on AVP back in 1999 for the PC and Mac. It wasn't until the film iteration of the AVP series that we saw our first on-screen Predalien in the form of a chestburster. The follow-up AVP Requiem would give us a follow-up to that chestburster scene as we see the fully grown Predalien out for blood. Now, to clarify before you type in the comments, I am aware that the Predalien is not a full-on hybrid, but rather its own subspecies, just to clarify. The many comic book crossovers. Alien vs. Predator wasn't always the first crossover with the franchise, as the Predator has fought characters like Batman, Superman, Terminator, Witchblade, Tarzan, Judge Dredd, and even Archie. In regards to crossovers on film, we'll come back to that much later on in this video. Layer 2. The making of the blood. The Predator's blood is by far one of the most unique looking specimens in all of science fiction. But have you ever wondered how it was ever pulled off? According to behind the scenes special effects artists, the blood was created using Mountain Dew, liquid from glowing sticks, and KY jelly. Ugh, gross. The original Predator costume. As mentioned before, Jean-Claude Van Damme struggled to wear the original costume for the movie. Everyone knows what the Predator looks like, even if you've never seen the franchise before. However, the original suit for the film looked more like this. And seeing the way Van Damme had to wear the suit, yeah, it looks very uncomfortable compared to the one we later got instead. Personally, the original suit looked something straight out of a B horror film, and I'm glad they replaced it. It's just too bad that Van Damme had to cut ties to the film, because I think he would have been great wearing the new and improved costume. Although to address how the new suit performed, it too wasn't all that comfortable. According to stunt performer Ken Peter Hall, he stated that the suit made it as if the making of the film was more of a survival story than a movie making process. RAPHAEL ADOLINI 1715. This is referring to the engraving on the flintlock pistol that was given to the character Harrington by the elder Yuja Greyback in Predator 2. The flintlock belonged to a pirate of the same name. The backstory behind the flintlock was explored in the comic book Predator 1715. However, from what I could gather, that comic book is considered non-canon to the films. The idea for the flintlock appearing in Predator 2 was based on a concept from the creators who wanted to tell a story where modern weapons were not around to fight the predators. The comic in question was the antithesis of that screenplay. In 2022, the flintlock would later appear in the movie Prey, given to the main character Naru. Peter Cullen. If you don't know who Peter Cullen is, he is a Canadian voice actor known for his role as Optimus Prime from the Transformers franchise. He is the voice actor for the Predator, but for some reason was uncredited for his role. Cullen would continue to voice Prime even up to this very day, with his latest role being in the upcoming Rise of the Beast movie. God, there are so many Transformers movies. I thought it ended back in 2013. Oh wait, this is like Predator Iceberg, not Transformers 1. Female Predators. Given the amount of Predators we see in the film series, there's obvious hints that there are female Yautjas. However, we barely see them in the movies. Expanded media tends to showcase more female predators such as the comic books and even the game Predator Hunting Grounds. Predators are an ever-growing species of alien, and the females of the species give birth to over 60 offspring over the course of their lifetime. In regards to the size average of the female predators, it remains inconsistent, with the AVP Prey novel depicting them as bigger than their male counterparts, with most expanded media portraying them to be around the same exact height as most males. Some of the most well-known predators by name include Big Mama from Alien vs. Predator Deadliest of the Species, and Vagudi, a hunter who appeared in Predator If It Bleeds. Alien vs. Predator Canonicity. There is a huge debate on whether or not the AVP series is canon. This is due to the fact that many of the films have contradicted one another in terms of backstory and lore building. What a lot of people don't know is that the crossovers didn't happen within the realm of the movies, but rather the pages of the comic books by Dark Horse Media. It wasn't until the idea was pitched as a movie until the early 2000s. In regards to how creators Ridley Scott and
The Thomas Brothers
feel, well, they didn't like the execution, which is probably one of the reasons why Ridley Scott directed Prometheus, a prequel to the Alien franchise that would contradict a ton of the AVP lore out of the way. In regards to whether or not AVP exists within the Predator film series, however, that yet again remains up to debate as well. From where I stand, the AVP series is nothing more than a fan service filled mashup, which is completely fine. But in terms of where the fans see the films, it's really all up to you, and despite the creator and diehard fans saying otherwise. Layer 3. The original concept. Ever wonder how Predator became a thing? Well, there's a rumor that it was likely due to a joke created by one of the visionaries behind Predator, who came up with a joke around a scenario in which Rocky Balboa from the Rocky movies had fought aliens. The idea of the joke was that due to no worthy opponents on Earth to fight Rocky, aliens would stand in their place to fight Rocky in a fifth movie of the Rocky franchise. This is kind of funny considering the fact that there is a Rocky-like movie where a human boxes aliens titled Arena from 1989. In terms of the title of the movie was originally going to be titled Hunter, which was a working title at the time. Even the plot was originally different, as it was supposed to focus on Dutch being the only one pitted against the Predator. However, Arnold thought the idea needed something more, so a whole squad that we know and see in the movie were implemented in the film. Batman Dead End. Batman Dead End is a short fan film that pits Batman, Joker, Xenomorphs, and a horde of Predators all in one showdown. It was directed by Sandy Colora and premiered at San Diego Comic-Con in 2003. Sandy was the concept artist for Predator 2, who created over 100 different concept arts for the film, with most of those concepts turning into action figures. The film depicts Batman chasing a recently escaped Joker, attempting to bring the Clown Prince of Crime back to Arkham. Joker is slain by a xenomorph, causing Batman to force himself to fight the alien head-on. Then, they are confronted by a gang of predators and even more xenomorphs. Just as things are about to get heated, the film ends. The most impressive part about this film is that it was all done with practical effects. Given that this film was from 2003, it's impressive what the creators were able to pull off. It's free to watch on YouTube, and I'll link in the description down below. Big Red. Big Red was one of the concept characters created by Sandy Calora from Predator 2. Despite not appearing in the movie, he made his on-screen debut in Batman Dead End. Big Red would later receive his own action figure in 2012 alongside his companions Wasp and the Albino, who also appeared in the fan film. The description of the figure describes the events of said fan film, as well as noting Big Red's fascination with samurai culture, as the hunter himself is depicted carrying 2 katana swords. The Black Warrior. The Black Warrior is a Yautja equivalent to the Grim Reaper. It is often seen as an adversary of the Yautja, but holds high respect and honor amongst its species. The Black Warrior's role must always be one that wins all battles. The Black Warrior is only ever mentioned in the books like AVP Prey and the comic book AVP War. The Predatooronops. These are a type of goblin spiders that can be found in the Brazilian Atlantic forest. They were first discovered in June of 2012, and their size ranges from 1.8 to 2.1 millimeters. They are, of course, named after the predator, as the spider's chelicera looked oddly similar to that of the mask worn by the creature. Not to mention, within this genus of goblin spiders, they are called, and excused my pronunciation of these names, Predatooronopps schwarzeneggeri and Predatooronopps Dutch, as an homage to both Schwarzenegger and his character Dutch. And yeah, so far that was my Predator Iceberg. There are probably tons of facts and lore that I probably missed, but if I did, I'll definitely come back to this video and make a second video where I expand on this iceberg. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new to this channel. Comment down below on what your favorite Predator movie is, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Incoming call from the Heliotic clan.
We know where you are, bitch boy. We know you've returned. Prepare yourself for the ultimate penetration.